Public Transport Arbitration Office has been set up in Gauteng to deal with the ongoing taxi violence. It's in line with recommendations by Judge Jeremiah Shongwe's Commission of Inquiry. Gauteng MEC for Public Roads and Transport Infrastructure, Jacob Mamabolo, joins us now via Zoom here in Johannesburg to discuss this a little bit further. MEC, thank you so much for joining us this evening. So talk to us about the Public Transport Arbitration Office. What will its functions be?
Well, firstly, let me greet you, all the viewers, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. And just confirm that, yes, indeed, as the provincial government of Gauteng, we have announced the process of establishing the Public Transport Arbitration Office. Its mandate, it's really to deal with the problems that have been persisting and that have really been very difficult to resolve in public transport, with the main one being the disputes between different taxi associations on the routes. We know that the dispute on the routes in the province are a deep historical and perennial problem that has cost human life in the taxi industry, commuters, causes instability in the province as the economic hub of the country. So we believe that with the arbitration office being capacity created to be available all the time, and we're looking at this starting February next year, we believe that in that way, we will be able to deal with the problems that have been around and have not been solved, but at least this time, we have established a very credible, reputable process for disputes to be resolved, and everybody will know where they stand with respect to the dispute. The rules of the court will be followed, those of arbitration, and we believe that this is one of the best ways to make sure that we save human life, stabilize the province, and most importantly, public transport.
So, MEC, as you said yourselves, I mean, these are perennial problems. We've had taxi violence for so long now. You know, what difference, why do you think this court will actually work? We've had many times where there's been attempts to mediate between taxi associations, as you say, between, disputes between routes and so forth. Why do you think this will actually work this time around, and who will be leading it?
The difference that we have this time is that, so 3 points. The first one is that we had established the Commission of Inquiry into the root causes of taxi violence. It has narrowed the problem for us. And one of the things that it has indicated very clear was that the department itself and our officials, including those of municipalities, law enforcement, themselves have contributed in one way or another to the problems that bedevil the taxi industry, most importantly, the disputes relating to the routes. Why that is important and helpful is because we now know that as the department, we are conflicted. We are not the right authority, which can also build and instill confidence on determining who was actually allocated the route, because the Commission has clearly demonstrated that we as a department have contaminated and corrupted the route determination process. So that is why, if we have an objective, independent process that will quick and fast, unlike a normal court process, resolve these issues based on evidence and facts led by the taxi associations and ourselves as the department, giving evidence. We believe in that way the arbitration awards that will be made, this time it will also be led by a retired judge who is also an arbitrator. We believe in that way we will, instead of having these problems hanging around, being negotiated, mediated, as you say, but without finality, we believe this time we have found the most credible, innovative, best solution to tell us the truth based on facts who owns the road, who is allocated the route, who is not allocated, and will have a solution. Unlike these things moving in circles, back and forth, talks, and without finality and concrete decisions being made. So that's why we are confident that we will, for the first time, have decisions made. Those who are not happy with the arbitration award are free to go to court, and we will also make sure that these decisions are enforced, because, and also the other issue is, we are very much pleased that the taxi industry supports the establishment of the arbitration office, and we're quite confident that we are set on a completely different path to resolve these issues than let them lingering, moving, and going back and forth. This time there will be resolution.
Okay, so there's full support from the taxi industry, which is key, as you say. MEC, talk to us about the moratorium that you have on new applications for operating licenses. Why is that in place?
So one of the challenges that we have, and again, thanks to the Commission of Inquiry into Root Causes of Taxi Violence, is that, you know, we have just appointed CSIR, the Council for Industrial and Scientific Research, to help us audit who is who in the taxi industry in Gauteng, who's a legitimate legal operator, who is illegal, and we have just appointed CSIR recently to conduct the audit. Now, whilst we conduct the audit, a process that has just commenced 2 weeks ago, whilst that process is on, we can't be perpetuating the illegality and the corruption with respect to the operating licenses. So it was very much important to say our routes are saturated. There's a high supply of public transport modes, particularly the taxis. Even when you look at other modes of transport, there is no balance between demand and supply. This is also causing massive violence. You have got, CSIR just in a week that they've started working on this. They told us their research tells them we have 268 taxi associations. On our system, we have 175. That tells you that there's a lot of associations with members moving around our streets, not properly accounted for. So the moratorium, supported by an audit by CSIR to establish a reputable database, will give us a sense of what exactly is happening with the taxi industry in the province. And that's why we want to eliminate illegal taxi operators.
I mean, you've got a situation as well where route permits are being loaned out by the actual holders themselves as well. I'm sure that complicates issues as well.
It doesn't, because in building this database, we are going to request biometrics. We're going to request fingerprint of owners, and it will also help us to expose who is fronting for who. We have also known from the Commission, there are many government officials, police, including Metro Police, law enforcement, owning taxis. There are a lot of people in this space that we do not know. So the fingerprint and the facial recognition capability will give us a proper information. So the issue you are raising cannot be complicated, because we will know beyond any shade of doubt who is who, and will be able to open the black box in the taxi industry that you can't even see through. So we will be bringing light into the space. We will know all the facts and the truth, and it will be verified by fingerprint, supported by the biometric facial recognition. In that way, we will know the truth and the facts.
MEC, you also mentioned other modes of transport. You were saying the transport industry, well, it's saturated at the present moment. You've had issues before with the e-hailing, operators and the meter taxis as well, meter taxi operators. We've had conflict in that particular sector. Are we making any progress in terms of maybe sorting those issues out?
Yes, let me say to you that you'll recall, viewers may recall that last year when the e-hailing industry approached us as the provincial government and said they've got a problem with the e-hailing companies. We then appointed a counsel, an advocate, to mediate. Now, the advocate is still working on mediating the conflict, particularly between Uber and Bolt. Now, one of the issues that I'm quite sure might come out is that once they've completed the process, they are going to give us a report and recommendations. Some of the issues might need a process where a determination must be made on what should be the best way forward. So the mediation is on, but we are now introducing even a much more decisive arbitration office, which will deal with any dispute, it be with bus operators, meter taxis, and anyone, as long as it threatens stability in public transport, commuters, and the economy. The Public Transport Arbitration Office will tell us right there who is entitled to the arbitration award, meaning who is actually right and is entitled to a better solution, and who is, the antagonizer causing problems and disrupting stability in the province. So the negotiation we have set up, the mediation in e-hailing, plus the arbitration office are one process that complements each other and will be able to deal with the perennial problem of instability in public transport in our space. And we are quite confident that law enforcement will be able to enforce the decisions because they will have an effect, and of course will also make them a decision of a court. We can approach a court and say, here's an arbitration award, and it's now having the effect of a court unless the person take it on review or the association or the organization. And in that way, anyone who undermines it will be faced with the charges of contempt of court. And in that way, we are also, let me hasten to say to the viewers and to you, please, it is very much important that all these alternative dispute resolution methods are embedded in public transport so that we can educate, particularly the taxi industry, that disputes are better solved on the table than carrying guns, causing human beings to lose their life, blood in our street, contempt for human life, which is, according to our constitution of the country, is the most important aspect. But we can see how the taxi industry treats human life, their own lives, those of commuters. So we are also trying to bring education to institutionalize conflict so that it is not in the street, so that it is brought to a better process. In that way, it might take us long, but it will be the best way to say to the taxi industry, throw away your guns, go and argue as professionals, as business people, and leave these methods that you are using that are obsolete, outdated, and most of them borders on barbarism. We need to rid the taxi industry of those problems and of that culture of violence.
All right, MEC, thank you so much, and good luck with the Public Transport Arbitration Office. It'll be operational early in 2022, as you say, and trying to do away with the taxi violence we've seen. It's been a scourge for so many a year. That's MEC for Jacob Mamabolo, there at the Public Roads and Transport Infrastructure MEC for Gauteng.